Have you ever said out loud you don't want to seem salesy and you don't want to hit up your friends for business? I'm telling you right now that this is the number one fatal flaw in your business if you are saying this and if you're thinking it, because your outlook is all wrong. And so today we're going to talk about connecting every single lead to a conversation and turning it into a lifelong business relationship, even though it might just be a personal relationship at original lead generation. So we're going to dive into that. I'm super excited to take you on the journey and how just changing your intention a little bit could change your entire career forever. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane, Real Estate Agent Playbook. Super excited to dive into this. Client journey is my thing. I help realtors build their business through building a sphere of influence and nurturing that sphere of influence. And this is of utmost importance. And it really blows my mind when people say that they don't want to sell homes to their friends or people that already know, like, and trust them. So we're going to dive into that. But first, if you're interested in my very free mini course on sphere development and building a sphere of influence to absolutely accelerate your real estate career, click the link below. I'd be happy to bring you into the Real Estate Agent Playbook community on the school platform. It's a really good, thriving community where we help agents of all kinds, not just agents in my organization, build their real estate business. So check that link out for sure. As always, please like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening on the podcast. If that's your jam, please throw me a 5-star review that helps other listeners find the podcast and expand my reach to help other real estate agents win every single day at the game of real estate. As a real estate agent of almost 10 years, I have heard so many times people talk about leads being the heartbeat of your real estate business. The truth is the heart beats without blood and it doesn't go anywhere. So we need to kind of refocus. And now that with the mass communication, the technology within our industry, leads are a little bit less valuable than they used to be. The truth is 10 years ago when I got in, when information traveled a little bit slower, social media was just kind of getting rolling, leads were a lot harder to come by. So they were absolutely the heartbeat of your business. Now leads are literally just contact information, which, funny enough, back in the day, that's what people were really considering leads, is developing those full contacts in your database. Now it's just a name or number that comes across a computer screen, and it's not really a lead. It's maybe somebody that got tricked into, clicking a button for a picture or, whatever. And in order to make it a lead, that conversation has to happen, and it takes extreme skill for agents to convert those leads. So the truth is that conversations are probably more the heartbeat or the bloodstream of your real estate business at this point, because leads have become so abundant and easy to come by, because with technology, there's so much information trading that maybe even people don't even realize. So that's the first step, is understanding what is an actual lead and what is, simply just a phone number and a name. And so how do we take the amount of leads you have in your database and hopefully exceed the amount of leads with dollars in your bank account? And that really starts with that conversation and conversion. And when I'm coaching my agents in my group and agents that I coach that book a call with me, just a game plan call, I really ask them an easy question. I say, what do you do for fun where there are people, where there are heartbeats, where you can have conversations and kind of just be of service? And they're like, well, this place, but they're kind of uncomfortable about making that like their lead generation strategy, because they've been told that you have to generate leads like this for the industry. And so when we get to that point, we're like, okay, where do we go? And all I'm trying to do is, how do you change that conversation? George Bryant had a great podcast last week about, providing value, like go into that conversation, not to get a real estate transaction, but to provide value. Because if you provide value, you're memorable and people will absolutely, reciprocate that. And so if you're providing value, you're providing knowledge of the market, you're providing, knowledge of loan programs, you're providing knowledge of, marketing and how to sell a property, all those things. And they don't have to be 100% real estate specific. Right? Maybe you're providing value to a contractor that you can drive business to. Maybe you're just having a conversation about what the headline was on the news that you can kind of say, okay, this is reality. That's a national headline. It's taken this out of context. Just providing value and having those conversations will eventually lead you to be the number one source for real estate. And so when that person that already knows, like, and trusts you because you're friends, you met them at the dog park, you see them at the dog park every day, or you see them at brunch every Sunday or whatever, then that person will eventually, filter in. This is no active, marketing strategy, but it absolutely will help. And the more value you provide, the better. And so the next thing that kind of grinds my gears a little bit when we're talking about content and lead generation is the ask is too big. You're not taking this person on a journey. You're saying, I want to have this conversation. It's superficial. I want to get to a transaction. And so as you kind of develop, and with all the time you have right now when your business is slower, if it is, or during the slow times, during the seasonality slow times, or whenever you have more business, you have 5, 6, 7, 8 clients at a time, you can sit down and develop these little value adds, right? The 5 misconceptions of, people in 2023's real estate market. All of this stuff so that when you're talking to these people, you can throw them those little value adds, driving them back and forth to your content, maybe driving them from that value add back to a video that you have that you can put a link on, or you can send them a text, or you can connect with them on socials. Send them to somewhere that's easy, because a lot of people are like, book a buyer consultation below. Talk to my lender to get pre-approved. How many times have you seen that video? Before you start looking for a house, call the lender, get pre-approved. That's absolutely something that in the industry makes a lot of sense, but it's a huge value. It's a huge ask of that person. So instead of providing value, we're saying, okay, yeah, we had this conversation and I'm cool and I want you to make me money. So call my lender and get pre-approved. Tell them about how you didn't pay that credit card, or you missed child support, or, you have too much debt and you have a huge car payment so you can't afford to buy a house. Like, people don't like that conversation. It's hard. Looking at the finances is typically, a little bit difficult. If they're, renting, there's probably a reason why they're renting, whether that's they don't make enough money, or they have too much debt. And so, or they have bad credit and have made decisions and bad decisions in the past. And so that's where we have to lighten that ask a little bit. Maybe not get pre-approved, maybe not even a buyer consultation. Hey, let's sit down and talk about this. Tell me about your situation. They sometimes don't want to go down that road quite yet because they've been told that they have to have 20% down, or in their mind, they think they have to have 20% down, or they're in a lease, or there's all these roadblocks that they can put up. And so when you ask them a buyer consultation, oh, my lease doesn't expire for 6 months. Okay, that's good. But then you're like driving them to the buyer consultation. They feel like it is salesy, and that's when it does get salesy. So try the little ask. Let's connect on social media, then go on the back door and, put content out, market updates, home tours, whatever on social media. Or, hey, I send out a market update via email every single month. I know you're not in the market to buy, but, would this be of value to you? It's really focused on your neighborhood, or just the little things where you're giving, right? You're giving. All they have to do is give you an email address. All they have to do is connect or follow you on social media. Just try that. And once you have that value stack coming, and they're like, okay, they see a video, then they see you again at brunch, and then they, say, oh yeah, I need to know the 5 things not, to do to get prepared to buy a home. They get that, and then eventually they'll be like, okay. And then, even then, you might not be like, hey, get pre-approved. Hey, let's do a buyer consultation. Maybe say, hey, I'm gonna go look at houses. I know you're interested in this area. Why don't you just come with me? Kind of do a scouting trip, which I've talked about. If you want to know about my scouting trip, check out this video right here. That's where the value comes in, right? People say, well, I don't want to waste my time. Every single person I've taken on a scouting trip is either bought a house or referred me a client, because I'm different. I'm doing it differently than the average realtor that posts that first Instagram, video that says get pre-approved and then we can talk. That's not what I'm doing. I'm taking them, I'm showing them houses. Zillow, right? The headline in this video is that Zillow does something right. This is what they do. They don't require a pre-approval to send an agent running across town to show them a house And then once they're in the house, those internet leads are higher converting because they're appealing to that emotion. They're getting that person into the home. Once they're in the home, they're like, oh man, could I actually afford this? I'm going to call the lender now. Or, I'm going to call the agent. He's said he could show me other properties. So then they do that. And that's a 5 to 6% conversion rate because the experience of the people that are actually showing the houses, on those teams, those brand new agents are like, here you go show houses. And the conversion rate isn't great, but still 5 to 6% is really good for an internet lead. So that's what Zillow has right, is they say, hey, you want to see this house? You want to walk in it? You want to feel it? You want to smell it? We'll do it. Like, we're not making you show us a pre-approval letter. We got agents that'll do it for free, because in hopes that they convert 5 out of 100 of those clients into clients. That's great for them. And then Zillow gets more money. So that's what Zillow has right, is they appeal to that emotion. They get people on the right track, and maybe that spurs them to get into the home buying process. And once you build that rapport, once you've seen them, then they're willing to take that bigger commitment. They're like, okay, now let's see a buyer consultation. Let's see if this is actually real. And I'm not saying show them any house they want to see anytime. You can kind of pre-vet them, especially if you know them, kind of what they're doing. Are they off on the weekends? Are they talking about, being a doctor or accountant, or, what are they doing? And so then you kind of judge out. You don't want to show them houses that are way outside their price range, because then their eyes get way bigger than their budget. But you can definitely spur some interest, get them to that pre-approval. After that, get them to that buyer consultation, and then you can talk about it. In the end, you're just showing houses, you're gaining experience, and at the very least, you're gaining market knowledge, so you can kind of keep an eye on that home and see what happens. So it's not a waste of your time, especially because they'll tell all their friends, right? If you have a young professional, they're surrounded by people at work every single day, and probably in their social life, if you're not part of that circle, maybe they're somebody you met at yoga or something, then they're going to tell all of their other friends, hey, like, my realtor just took me out to see a house and didn't make me sign any papers, didn't make me, give them my firstborn child as far as a pre-approval, and they didn't really make me, do a buyer consultation. So it's just getting out there, showing them houses. Do that once, and then, you'll get that understanding of where they're at. And then at that point, you can have that ask, and it's a lot bigger opportunity for you, because it's a less of a jump, right? From single video to pre-approval is a lot different than, meeting, seeing a video, to, hey, here's an item of value, here's another item of value, let's go look at houses, this is fun. Okay, now pre-approval. So you kind of walk them along on that journey. They are gaining comfort with you. You're gaining a raving fan. And if you walk along that journey, especially with the first-time home buyers, they're going to be a lifelong client, and it's going to pay dividends just for spending that 2 hours with them, looking at homes, getting market knowledge, and showing them how you provide value a little bit differently. So that's that. That's my secret. It's, a lot of real estate agents are, I'm not going to do that. My time's too valuable, whatever. Well, the truth is that those agents probably aren't trying to build a business and exponentially grow it. You have time at the beginning of your career. You have time all the time for your clients, because that is your paycheck. And so it always blows my mind when I hear agents say, oh, pre-approved, you're wasting my time. Well, yeah, if you continue down that road, it's a waste of your time. But every time I go on one of those scouting trips, it's 2 hours of my life. I'm seeing properties, I'm building a relationship with that client, and I'm building the possibility of having a raving fan as I walk through the journey with them and actually care about their situation and what they're looking at doing. And I can find out their goals, I can find out their dreams. And if I'm a part of that and I get into that situation, dream homes, that kind of stuff, then I'm in, because I can constantly talk to them about dream homes and continuing to move up the ladder of building wealth through real estate. So that's kind of how it is, but you have to start. If we go all the way back to the beginning, I said Zillow gets something right. It's because they appeal to that emotion in there. They have that mid offer that's providing value that no one else is doing. So Jeremy Kane, Real Estate Agent Playbook, helping agents win every single day at the game of real estate. Again, that link below is super helpful in building your sphere, so check that out. As always, like, comment, subscribe, leave me a 5-star review on the podcast, and share it with your favorite real estate agent. Bye-bye.